Let's look at another standard today, and the reason we do this is to build a repertoire and teach you how to look at standards and how to play over standards, and as well to even build a solo guitar repertoire. Okay, so let's take a look at Just Friends. This is a classic, and it's not terribly difficult. So let's begin by just doing a bit of an analysis. We start, as you can see, on the 5 chord on a G7, and that 5 chord leads to C major. But there's a little trick that's played here. We're not actually in the key of C major, so let's just move ahead a little bit. 5 chord to what we think is the 1 chord, and then we move to the C minor, or the parallel minor, and then an F7. And now we're actually in the key for the first time, moving to the G major 7. Okay, so we have this 5 leading to what we think is a 1, but it's actually a 4. And then that 4 goes to the 4 minor. It's related 5 chord. And then we, for the first time, move to the 1 chord of G major, and then we do a 2-5 in the key of A flat, up a semitone from G major, and then the 2 chord of G, the 3 chord in G, a secondary dominant, which would lead to a D normally, but we sort of do it in a roundabout way. A minor, the 2 chord, 5 chord, and then a chromatic, and then we're back. And when I say chromatic movement, and then we're back to the C major. Same progression, so we're in a second 16 measures now. Minor, and its related 5 chord, G major 7, you could play G major 6 or G major 9, there's lots of different things you can do. And then that chromatic movement up to A flat, and then back to G with a 2, 5, 2, and then the 5 chord again, the 5 of D, or D minor or D major, and then a 2, and we'll call this a secondary dominant, that A7, because it's a dominant that is not derived from the key of G major, and so it's actually derived from the key of D major, or it could be D minor depending on the scale of the scale of origin, and then A minor, 2 chord, 5 chord, and 1. So the characteristics of this tune, one of them is that it starts on the 4 chord with its related 5, right? 5, and then goes to the 4 chord, and then the 4 minor, its related 5, to the 1 chord, right, for the first time. And then chromatically up a semitone, 2, 5, down a semitone, 2, 5 in G, 3, 6 in G, and then the secondary dominant, which would lead to a D of some kind, and it does, except first moves to the A minor, and then to the 5, and then a chromatic movement down. And then we start with essentially the same progression. In terms of the form of this tune, 16 measures at the top, and then we repeat the same 16 measures with a little bit of a tag turnaround. That's going to be a little different. This turnaround here moves to the C major. This turnaround here also, moves to the C major at the top, but that's after we sort of resolve to the G. Our tonal center is G. Our key is overall G. That's indicated by the sharp. But as is characteristic of jazz-type tunes, there are modulations throughout. This modulation to the four minor, this modulation to A flat. Now, why are these things important? They're important because what you want to do is be able to analyze a tune before you start trying to solo over it. There's no point in trying to solo over a tune unless you sort of know the inner workings of the tune, the harmonic progression, and where you have a roadmap for the tune. As a matter of fact, a good thing to do sometimes is to map out the tune in that way. I've done this for my students many times before in analysis, and so here I would map out, we're in the key of C major, here we're in the key of C minor, here we go to G major, here we go to A flat, here we go to G, and we stay on G for a full 4 measures. Then this A7 is not in the key of G because it has a C sharp in the chord. So we have to indicate that C sharp. Right, there's my C sharp, and it's very clearly a dominant sound. And then we have the 2 chord, which would return to to a 2-5 in G, except we move to very briefly to a chromatic movement, and if that gives you an opportunity to move chromatically in the line so that you play as well. Okay, now you may not be familiar with the melody, so I'm going to just run through the melody with the chords slowly. That movement to the minor. Here we're in A flat. Chromatic. Okay, something like that, and that's just to give you an idea how the melody goes, and I threw in a couple of fills just for fun. So when I'm filling the key, in the key that the chords that the harmony is indicating, right? So as you could probably hear, here I was in the key of C minor, then moving to the key of G major, and so on, like we mapped it out. If this video was helpful to you, like, subscribe. It helps the algorithm immensely. Buy me a coffee. Buy one of my books, which you can get on Amazon. And please leave a question. I get back to all the questions with fairly lengthy answers. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you real soon.